Derrin Little, head football coach at Chatham Central High School. Happy to be here this morning. A little bit about our offseason, man. I can't complain one bit. I told the Shebo the other day when he came to practice, this is definitely the best offseason we've had since I've been here. When you look at it from the very first year to now, we just see so much development. We see our guys getting better. Guys are understanding the game itself. It's not as much teaching that we have to do now compared to year 1 and 2. I got with me today Nick Glover, rising senior. He'll be an athlete, plays a little bit everywhere for us. Brooks Albright will be our starting quarterback, as well as he'll play a little bit of DB. Savion Burnett is a starter at DB and receiver, and then Bryson Austin is also going to start on both sides of the ball at running back and a little bit of DB and safety.
All right, Coach. Yeah, we talked at practice. I think it was Thursday, and you said numbers. That was a big thing. You got about 18 guys consistently coming in, and you said that has really helped you guys basically split practice up and be able to specialize offense and defense. So let's talk about how big is that to have those numbers in this season, and how that's helped you guys develop the team this offseason.
Man, it's huge, mainly because year 1, I think what we had second night, it was 80 y'all out there, right? When I first got here, it was the 8 guys that were going to workouts. Compared to now, we've got literally our 2 deep everywhere that we need to have them. And then we've got more, this is the first time since I've been here that we actually have about 8 to 9 guys that we can rotate as far as the O and D line. So having that depth is definitely going to help us as well.
Yeah. Another thing is, I mean, coming in this offseason, last offseason, I know you had a quarterback in mind. He got injured during the year, but Brooks had to come in. He got some reps last year. Now he's coming in after a year of that and had a whole offseason to kind of develop. So what have you seen from him this offseason and how he's prepared to take on this quarterback role?
Mainly his strength, man. He's gotten so much stronger. He's killing it in the weight room right now, as well as his understanding of football itself. So last year he got baptized by fire, hadn't played quarterback before. Well, you hadn't played since you were 7. So yeah, hadn't played football since he was 7. I actually saw him. They were in the 8th grade my first year here, and just watching him on the basketball court, you can see he's a point guard, makes really, really good decisions. So I knew at some point, like, hey, if we get him to play, he's probably going to have to be the guy for us. And it just ended up working out that way. You never want anybody to get hurt, but by fate, it ended up where he was the guy. And it was the best decision for us going down the line. We got better as he got better, and as he continues to get better, I feel the program will.
Yeah, and also too, with having him at quarterback, take some pressure off Nick, right? Like, who had to kind of take some reps at quarterback last year too. Just how does that kind of help the offense and having him be able to kind of go wherever he wants to now?
It helps a ton, man, because we can do what we really want to do. And that's exploit what he's really good at, get him in space, get him the ball fast. And it's tough to do that when you're behind the center and everybody can box in and be eyes on you, So now we can kind of hide him a little bit, find some sneaky ways to get him the ball, as well as, when we need to, we'll still put him back there, snap it to him, and let him do what he does best. And that's just run around like a chicken with his head. No, for whatever reason, man, he's just a dude. He finds a way to make it work. And now for us to be able to not have to just snap him the ball and get him the ball in different spots, he can do more for us in the special teams game now. So less breaks for him. So, I know he don't like that too much, but he also likes the fact that the ball is coming his way. So I don't think he's too mad.
Yeah. And we also talked about the coaching staff, and you added co-DCs this year that have really helped, kind of take the reins of that defense and make it their own. Talk about your defensive coordinators and what they bring to
Yeah, so one of my defensive coordinators is actually here, Coach Trayvon Tapp. He spent some time at Lenore Ryan. He also played there. And then the same with Dewanye Bland, who also they played together. And then me and Dewanye actually played against each other in high school. So having the 2 of those guys, man, they see it the same way because they were at the same place, so they know the same things. The language is the same, but they're really good teachers. And I think that's the best thing that I've seen from them so far, man, is they're able to take what they know at the level that they know it and break it down to our guys to the point where we're able to execute. And I think by far all of them will tell you that this is the most fun that they've had playing defense, but I think that they'll see some more success on defense this year.
Yeah, and also on that defense, I know you lost a lot of guys up front to graduation, especially like Steven Silhan. So what have you seen from the guys that are kind of stepping up and having to fill those roles, and who are you kind of most excited for in that position at D-line?
The fact that they actually want to. The one that's actually kind of interesting, and they'll laugh, but Logan Robinson, he was a guy that last year, Logan, he couldn't do a whole lot of right, did more wrong than anything, but he stuck with it. And then over the summer, he's been consistent to the point where now, like, he's able to get other guys lined up. He knows what he's supposed to be doing, and he's doing it well. So I'm hoping that he'll have a good year because this is his senior year as well. So hopefully he can ride off in the sunset.
Yeah. And I guess with that, also too on skill level side, I mean, you got some decent speed, right, with Tyler coming in at running back, and then of course DB Savion, Nick that back there at safety. Just how do you kind of evaluate their growth? Because I know a lot of them were sophomores last year, stepping in, kind of trying to get their feet wet in varsity football. How have they kind of grown this offseason and stepping into their roles?
Man, they've grown a ton. I mean, you talk about Savion as a freshman. Savion only played special teams here and there. I don't think he actually took a legitimate defensive snap. And then you go into his sophomore year, and he plays almost every snap up until he gets hurt. And then once he came back, he was actually better off than what he was at the beginning of the year. So to see them develop, it's a good thing. But now we're just looking for that consistency. We tell them all the time, like, it's not about what you did yesterday. We got to make today right.
Yeah. And this offseason, I know it's been like baby steps from your first year up to now. Like you said, now you got the numbers. Now you're looking for some consistency. What's kind of the belief with you and the guys that this is the year we can go in and start winning some games now?
Number one, the biggest thing that's been in our favor is the new realignment. So the new conference that we'll be in, the schedule that we'll play this year is more favorable. And then now we're talking about playing for 11. We don't like talk about the playoffs because of the simple fact that we ain't never earned going to the playoffs. You know what I mean? There were not enough teams in the East, so we were lucky enough to just be able to go. Whereas now we actually get to earn and fight to play for that 11th game. So that's the big thing that we're talking about right now is playing for 11.
Yeah. And I mean, with the new conference this year, just what's kind of been your mindset as a coach with that? Like knowing, we're playing different teams, but this time it's not really what you do in the conference. It's really just how you fare out in your regular season. So how have you guys kind of attack this season with that in mind?
Man, for me, I'm still focused on us. Yeah, I mean, we got a couple of hurdles internally that we got to get over before we can just start talking about, dominating every week and stuff like that. One thing we want to do is just get a positive snowball started and just let that thing roll and continue to be positive. But it'll be so much better playing more comparable games. We had, I think, in the 1A games that we've played in the past 3 years, I think there's been 7 games that are a one-score game. So we're so close in some of them, so we just got to finish, man. It's time to get over those few hurdles and get things rolling. But that's what we're more worried about right now is our own execution.
Yeah. Also, they brought that up about the classifications. I know because y'all were in a split conference, so you had to play some 2A schools and some bigger schools, just within the county, like Seaforth, Northwood every year.
Yeah. Do
you feel like with these guys having that experience, does that kind of give them, I guess, more of an advantage as far as the competition they've seen compared to this year, where you're going to see a lot more of those 1A schools?
Yeah, I hope it does. You definitely don't want to discredit what anybody else is doing. But some of the teams that we've had to play, some of the games that we've been in, some of the players that we've had to play against, it's a whole lot different. When you look at some of the other schedules and some of the other rosters. But like I said before, man, we're focused on us right now. We got some stuff that we got to fix and some goals that we got to achieve before we can start talking about everything else.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, the 4 players you have on the table right now, can you give us a rundown of what the biggest improvement is among each one of those players?
Each one of them, I think so. Bryson is actually, he'll be the leading tackler coming back. He was third behind 2 other seniors that we lost. For him, man, he is the one that's the most consistent. He's the guy that he plays in every single phase of the game, and he ain't quit yet. That's the one that I'm still trying to break. We ain't been able to break him yet. We done got everybody else but Bryson. So that's the biggest thing with him, man, is his consistency. With Savion, we just got to get him to finish. Seeing him now as a freshman, not being in the game, to then as a sophomore, he's right there. He just can't make the play just yet. So this year we're looking to see him make those plays. With Brooks, it's his everyday, man. It's getting him to be the leader. And he's walking right into that role, and he's starting to grab it and take it and run with it. But that's been the biggest thing that I've seen him develop as a leader. And then with Nick, man, it's getting him to do everything all the time. Getting him to realize that, your 40% is better than some people's 100. So give us 100 all the time, and everybody else will run behind him. And he's starting to do that, and I don't have to talk to him as much as we had to last year. He's kind of starting to take the reins of it, especially defensively. He's been kind of like a sponge with Coach Tapp, and now to the point where just yesterday he pretty much was teaching Savion what he had to do at safety once we moved him back there. So that's what I'm excited about with him.
Yeah. And yeah, we're talking at practice. You got a lot of other guys you're excited about, like Hanse at receiver. Of course, we mentioned Tyler a little bit. He's coming in running back with the speed. So who are some guys that that didn't make that much of an impact last year that you expect to come in and kind of step up for you?
Yeah, the big one is Gavin Williams. He got injured week 3 or 4 last year, and now he's coming back. He's Mike linebacker. He's everything that we were missing last year as far as the physicality, the tenacity. He's the one that when he was out there, every tackle that was made, even if he didn't make the tackle, he was right there by the ball. So we're excited to see him fully healthy. We're excited to see Tyler kind of translate some of that speed from track onto the football field, and now that he kind of understands what's going on in front of him. We got a couple of freshmen that are kind of making their way into the fold that we're kind of excited for. One big one that I hope that we can keep together and keep healthy will be Sailor Mitchell. He actually is he's saving all of our problems that we had at center last year. So that in itself is going to be a big help. And then we got a couple of other guys like Aiden Hernandez that's coming back. That's going to be key role players for us. And then one guy who we had his sophomore year, Braden Brewer. Braden played a little bit of everywhere for us as a sophomore. And now he's coming back. He'll help us some at linebacker. Hopefully he can help us some at running back as well.
Yeah, and also too, former AD Tommy Peel. He's going to be on still at Central on the staff, but you helping out with the offense. So what has he kind of added to your coach staff, and how excited are you to have that help?
Man, it's huge. It's actually funny. So when I was a high school quarterback, Coach Peel actually coached against me. So we had that recollection, and then you go back to he actually was the one that hired me, and now our running joke is, hey, I hired you, so make sure you don't fire me. But man, Coach Peel just brings the experience. I told all of the guys he's probably forgotten more football than all of us have learned so far. So just being able to have that sounding board for myself, as well as defensively, he's going to be kind of helping us, just saying, hey, we used to do this right here. It just brings us another set of eyes that's seen some stuff that we haven't seen.
And with that, I mean, there's a lot of new energy at the school, right? With the new AD coming in, Kevin Park. Is there a feeling of a little bit of new energy with the team this year, as far as a lot of new things, as far as the conference, like you said, one of the best off seasons you've had here? Is there kind of that feeling of, hey, we're definitely going to take a step and go in the right direction coming into this off season?
Yeah, you can definitely tell that the feeling is different, especially early on. Like I think I was telling you, this week was the first time that since I've been here, we haven't been able to go 11 on 11 this early. So I mean, for us to be able to do that, and we still got bodies over on the sideline this early, you can kind of tell that in itself is the newness of it. And we love where we are right now. We're not content. We know we still got a long way to go. We know we're still building, but for where we are right now, like I won't complain one bit.
I got a little bit of a fun question, because I see we got a lot of new uniforms this year in the county. So talk about getting new uniforms for the guys, and what was the process of that?
Man, when you go into places that some things have to change, the out with the old, in with the new. It's just kind of a fresh start. We're even getting a fresh paint job in the locker room this year, so hopefully all of the newness would just bring a new start for us. A clean slate. That's what we're looking at.
You're playing in the Jack Shaner Jamboree at Northwood this coming Friday. What are your expectations going into that, and what do you want to get out of playing in that Jamboree?
Most importantly, we just want to execute. We want to make sure that we can come off and set our game plan to what we want to focus on, and not necessarily looking to scheme up against other teams, but just making sure that we got our base offense and defense in, and that we're executing it. And then we just want to see red hats flying to the football. I'll be satisfied if I can see that.
All right, Coach. That's all I got for you.
Yep.
Appreciate you. We're going to turn it to the players.